Hello everyone, it is Anthony Gamer here, and today you are going to watch me playing Granny Chapter 2 Remastered. No longer be Granny Chapter 2. From now on, I'm gonna call this game Slendrina the Nightmarish House mod. Because what today we're gonna play is we're gonna play as Ethan Hunt and also without the grandparents, so that things would not be as impossible as might you think. Although Slendrina might be constantly appears on our face or either bottom of our body because she always appeared in the floor, like how you witnessed from the previous video. Alright, so without further ado, let's get inside the game. We're gonna do the second ending where we're gonna use the boat. And if you want to check this game out, I'll leave them in the description. Alright, move on to day 1 at Slendrina's grandfather's house. Alright, homestayed, maybe she's trying to guard the house. Alright, things are not so bad, impossible mode. Would that mean that Slendrina might appear every time? I have no doubts on that. Duct tape? Do you really think I need that for now? Alright, hello rat. Okay, Slendrina. The chaos of Slendrina is never ending. The picture of the painting seems a bit oddly strange, but isn't as strange as we have found the good old boat key that belongs downstairs. Yeah, there are many equipments that we need, such as boat steering wheel, spark plug, gasoline, padlock key, and what else? That's all. What is this? A special key. Again, I think we don't need this because I didn't turn on the astral locks. Although this is impossible mode, so how come there's no astral locks? Strange, isn't it? Okay, here comes Slendrina. It feels so much better without the grandparents here. So we're pretty much playing Slendrina but in grandfather's house. And the whole sky turns red. What on earth? Was it always like that in the nightmare version of the original Granny Chapter 2? Where the whole sky turned to red? As if like the whole earth had been destroyed by meteor? It is getting a bit crazy. By bit, I mean lots of craziness. Something has definitely turned into something that we didn't really familiar about. Mars? Wow. Okay, the child, still good old child. Since there are no grandparents, nobody can feed you. Sadly. But maybe I could. Yeah, instead we just keeps on, shooting that baby. That poor innocent baby. Why don't we just do it in a different way? Like, hey, you want some food? If you want some food, go back to your cage and leave this with me. Alright, here you go, enjoy the food. What on earth? I gave you the food and you have no permission to do that to me. Wow, that's a scary looking face. Remember, we do not have the okay. You know what? Termination is always the answer to this baby. She doesn't accept the food I had offered her. So why bother that we even gave her the food in the first place? Padlock key. Huh? The padlock key were on the table this whole time. Makes things a little odd. Yeah, fortunately, if I have to play on impossible mode, I could probably just do this. This isn't so impossible after all, without Granny and Grandpa. Only their granddaughter. This is not so impossible, not so Tom Cruise after all. Yes, even Slendrina doesn't appear as much as we thought it would be. Our expectation definitely proven wrong. Okay. There was nothing behind those passageway. Another piece of painting. That means we have the access to that upstairs later on. Here is the security key which Grandpa had left it at home. And that's the door handle, which we already done that before. Glass fuse, which we're gonna do that in the next episode. Props maybe on normal nightmare mode. Never ever attempting on hard mode. They are getting so crazy and cranky every time. You know what? Maybe I'll do on hard mode. Since they're being not too smart because of their, AI, why don't we just give them a bit more chance? What was that? I heard lots of weird noises lately. And I don't know what causing that noises. Everything's getting weirder. Alright, we don't need that. I just realized. However, there might be spark plug in this crate. Ooh, that is a spark plug. Who would have thought? I thought so. Alright. Plug this in before the Kraken gets us. What if impossible mode really means that you could only escape only one time? Maybe that is the answer and the difference when you play this between Extreme and on Earth. I keep hearing those noises and I think that's from the game, not even from the reality world. Yeah, just pretend that I'm not playing on practice mode. I'm completely playing Slendrina. Only Slendrina. It's the solo Slendrina in the Nightmare House of Boat Escape. What a long title. Probably I would just simplify the title later on. Hello, Slendrina that always appears in the floor, not on the floor. Cutting pliers, that would be useful for upstairs. So I'm gonna put this upstairs first. Even though we should have gotten the stun gun firstly. Weapon key, okay. Hand wheel, alright. Not so what we need. Okay, I dropped the weapon key, not at the spot that I wanted to. Stun gun. Here. Oh wait, no? Oh yeah. I had picked it up, after I shot the screwdriver. Of course. Here it is. And there's that baby. The baby that doesn't appreciate of anyone who gave him foods. Or her. Alright. Only one chance. Are you ready? Let's just shoot the button in this side. And then cutting pliers. So to eliminate the baby, I highly recommend Nosferatu. Do not block the way. You have no permission to block my interaction between me and the boat steering wheel. You have no consent. Alright, highly recommended to use the shotgun if you want to terminate the baby. It doesn't work on this remastered version. So of course, violence is always the answer into this, typical games. Yeah, shotgun. Wow. I think this could be like a good practice way to face against Granny and Grandpa later on when we have to face against them on Nightmare mode. Not Nightmare mode. Yes, it would be Nightmare mode, but not Impossible mode. Come here. You're already done with your food. Now you have to get what you have done. And that is my payback. Safe key. Gasoline? Could that be the last answer? If so, then we are done with the boat. Gasoline? Gasoline. We are done, everyone. This episode is not gonna be as long as the other one, which painfully took me about 3 times of recording in that video. And this one only took me just once. Because no Grammy... Wait, what? No Grammy. Yeah, that's definitely what I said. I meant to say the grandparents weren't available in the house. So it makes things not so tricky. Okay, only one more item, and that is the gasoline, and we can now leave this house. Now, if you want to know what my rating over this game, I would say that it will be just like the one that I have stated in the previous video. I wouldn't say it's an improvement. They did add some of the stuffs like Slendrina mechanics, which is absolutely dope. If you want more challenges, then you can choose Slendrina in your, your challenge. But if you want to play on like a higher difficulty, I highly recommend you still put on Granny and Grandpa, because if you want to play on impossible mode, it doesn't really feel impossible. No one's home. Not even Slendrina's gonna came up into the screen because she is so busy with her own stuffs. But yeah, I guess that's all for today's video. We're gonna change this up into hard mode, and we're gonna still do it with Granny and Grandpa. Alright, I guess that's all for today's video. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. This is me playing Granny Chapter 2 Remastered, aka Slendrina the Nightmarish House. So yeah, if you want to download this game, I'll leave it in the description. I'll also leave the creator as well. And yeah, not so impossible after all. Not even Slendrina that keep rapidly appears mostly constantly. She's still kind of like stuck at these certain points. But maybe in the next part that we're gonna do through the helicopter, maybe it will change things, differently. Maybe they'll get enhanced of the difficultiness because Granny and Grandpa are now home. So we cannot fool around the house and we have to be very stealthy. So anyway, thanks for watching this video and I'll see you in another horror games. Bye bye!